what's happening? I love football. I'm not a Patriots fan, but I just love the game. I'm a diehard Cowboys, 77. Um,
Boo.
Matt Matt doesn't have a go-to guy, and that's going to be an issue, man. It's the playoffs now. You talk about regular season if they had to did this, had to did that. Belichick is an excellent coach, and he comes up with a lot of good game plans. But I think they're going to play each other twice this year already, and wow, it's a wrap, and it don't look like there's going to be any weather in there that's going to affect Allen. Where the wind look like it's going to be okay. It's going to be a little cold. Matt's going to have to throw the ball. Buffalo got a stout run defense. It is what it is. I mean, you could try to bully ball and slow the game down, but how? If like someone else said earlier, if they're not up by 7 somewhere along this game, it's no way that New England pulls this out. I mean, I out of the AFC, I would like to see Cincinnati just because they went through so much. But I don't see how New England wins this game. Even with the run game, Buffalo's run defense is so tough, and he has to find a go-to guy. I can't remember who Brady's go-to guy was when he first came out, but I think he had one, and I'm not sure that Matt has one. It's not about Matt managing the game, but does he have anyone he can really rely on that's going to come down with receptions? And to me, I see him running the ball a little bit more than he usually does because uh, I don't think their running game is going to be able to get to kick off the way it usually does during the games. But I'll land there.
Thanks, man.
Okay, yeah. Look, clearly the Buffalo Bills are the better team than the Patriots on paper when you go from top to bottom. I'm not I'm not quite as pessimistic going into this game for the Patriots. As for there's a lot to unpack there. For Mac not having a go-to, it's not true. He goes to Hunter Henry a lot. We see him go to Jacoby Myers. There's been times this year that I felt that he's tried to force balls over to Henry. Where I wish he would have went to a different read or tried to get out of it. So he does have a go-to. I think for this game, truthfully, this Patriots team will go as far as their defense carries them, and I think that holds true for the Patriots offense as well. The offense will do as well as the Patriots defense allows them to. I loved Pat's analogy when you go back to Super Bowl 51. The 9-minute drive, the offense was gaining confidence. But I always point out that if Hightower doesn't strip sack Matt Ryan and Trey Flowers doesn't sack him, the Patriots' history is very different. And you can go through a lot of the Patriots' history and talk about those big defensive plays that complemented the Patriots' offense. This game, yes, of course, it's going to come down to Mac Jones having to make a play at some point. That's football. However, there's been a lot of emphasis this week on Mac Jones as a rookie. It's his first playoff game. Can he handle the pressure? Can he do this? They can't run the ball the whole game. But again, I think, and this has sort of been sentimented a couple times today, this comes down to the Patriots defense and what they do to that Bills offense. And if they can make plays, and you go back to that second game, and it was nailed on the head, and I've talked about this 1,000 times, if J.C. Jackson doesn't drop that interception, we could be having a different conversation here. We could be talking about the Patriots being 2-0 and it not being a split. You never know, though. You come to those assumptions. But this offense will go and give the opportunities that the defense gives into them. The defense is going to have to make a play at some point, whether that's an interception, whether that's a fumble. And I think defensively, too, I mean, we talk a lot about what Josh Allen is going to do. One of the things is because both these teams kind of limped into the playoffs when you look at the last few games of the season. But when you look at it from a whole, if the Patriots allow Devin Singletary to start running the football, then they're going to get in big trouble because now you're dealing with just a two-headed monster between the pass game and the run game. So they're going to have to make sure that they keep Buffalo one-dimensional. And I know it sounds stupid when you put Josh Allen into the mix. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. However, if you can keep him one-dimensional, you can keep your defense in a certain set. If they can start running the football and throwing, the Patriots are going to get into a lot of trouble.